Hey, I am headed back home, yeah. Saw my mom, my sister. Hmm. Hey, Dylan, what's going on? Oh, I don't want to see my. Oh, man, everything goes slower in Venice. It's like going back in time. That's cool. Things are going all right in Chicago. One sec here, guys. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Everybody's doing 35, so it's kind of annoying. That's good to hear. Yorktown, yeah. This guy's just stopping for no reason. Guy's literally just stopping in the middle of the road. Sorry, getting out of Venice can be quite a challenge at times. Let's just go. Get me out of this crowd. And we're done. Alright, guys. Yeah, it was a rainy day here, but a nice rainy day in the sense that I don't know, it didn't really even rain that much. Probably still need to water my plants. I'm going 5 over the speed limit, and I feel like I'm speed racing for this town. Yeah, my dad's seeing snow. Oh no. Yeah, I heard about that cold all throughout the Northeast and Midwest. That would be nice. Yeah, it is getting mid-May, so yeah. I think we only hit 80 to get today, which is a nice temperature. It's better than hitting 90. It is 74 right now. Because we got down, even in Cape Coral, got down to 59 like 3 nights ago, which is pretty chilly for this time of year. It's at least, that's probably 10 degrees below normal at least. 28 for 4 hours in a pot, or 28 for 4 hours in the ground. In the ground, that would be no problem. In a pot, it's hard to say because most plants don't like their roots frozen like that. I think 4 hours is probably right at the max. That's really the difference between like a hard freeze and a light freeze. This does give Venice a nice entrance, though. Hey, Elephant, what's going on? Just driving home. Just seeing my mom and sister for Mother's Day. Yeah, they'll definitely resprout. Might kill the leaves, but the branches are probably fine. Come on, green light. Oh, I love this car. Yeah, they're all Royals on both sides, and there's Everglades blended in the middle. I need to do a few videos from home. Not that I can't go out and do videos, but maybe on some like I don't know, just some things. videos. I need to do some videos, period. Sorry guys, let me check. Yeah, needles don't like being moved around. Oh, but if you're just planting them from a pot, that's okay. Just make sure you plant it where you want it, because moving it from there is not. I don't know anyone that transplants needles. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do it, but it takes a long time. I'm curious what's going to be in that building. It looks like it's going to be some sort of restaurant, but or 4 separate restaurants. It's probably going to be a Chinese restaurant. There's already a pizza place there. God, I wish I could drive past through this in 2004. You guys would be like, "What is that?" Oh no! I did not just see that. Hold on, let me see if I can turn around. It's picture worthy. Let me see if there's a turn. There's a turnaround right there. All right, guys, we're gonna turn around real quick. I can't believe I just saw that. Maybe I'm just blind and Oasis. Your house looks like everybody else's house. How hardy is Sable Cause Yarn? Pretty hardy. I'd say it's about as hardy as a palmetto. Almost as hardy as a palmetto. I'm gonna ask someone to do a favor. Can someone take a photo still of what I just saw here? I don't know if I can pull over and yeah, it's gonna be right here. There's a sign. You'll see it's a green sign. If you can take a photo still of it, that'd be awesome. But Sable Mexicana should probably take similar amount of hardiness. I've seen Sable Mexicana growing on the side, all along the coast of, well, that's more of a zone 9, like between Houston and Brownsville, away from the coast. I mean, it's definitely a 9A, some 9A areas there. Okay. Something is rolling around in my trunk. All right, guys. I don't know if I can't pull over for this, but I'm pretty sure that says State Collage of Florida. Yep. See that? State Collage of Florida. Can someone get a still of that? State Collage. Does someone know how to snap that? Here, I'm gonna manually turn my brights on. It's not helping. So that's, if you want higher education, you go to the State Collage of Florida. I knew I saw it correctly. You know, while I'm out here, then I gotta check something in the trunk. It's rolling around. I don't want it to break. If someone could get that would be. I got this glass cleaner that I picked up from my sister's that. Yeah, you can text it to me. Okay. I don't know how to DM you on. Okay, Dylan already got it for me, but I didn't know if you meant on Instagram or where. Oh, I put so much hand sanitizer in my hands. Oh, it's burning. It hasn't been getting very cold here. The coldest it's gotten is the past week is 59. Give me 1 second here, guys. Sorry about the annoying sound. But it's Mother's Day. People probably been drinking, going out to the restaurants. All right, I would just take off from here, but there's a lot of rocks, and I don't want to kick them all up. I didn't even, that's half throttle maybe. Yeah, I overwash my hands, so I've got some raw spots in my, I know it's a good thing. It's actually a good thing, but not a good thing at the same time, because it means I'm overwashing my hands. For May is 40. That's in South Carolina, right? So that used to be called Manatee Community College, which is a weird name for it because it's in Sarasota County, not Manatee County. So those are all good numbers to have, though. If you're above freezing, then, plant away. If you're planting, vegetables or fruit or whatever. Fangula. Oh, you're in Clayton County, okay. We were going to Fort Myers. Why did we have to go there? I forget. Ashley and Emma and I. And there was a Nissan 350Z. It looked like it would have been modified. I don't know if the engine had been modified, but we were on the bridge going over, and it kind of like rev bombed me, and I took off with it, and just, we were probably, I know how fast we were going. It was not a safe speed, but this car can handle the speed, but you just got to know that. There was no one else on the bridge. You like the cicadas too? I haven't seen a cicada in forever. I don't think they really live around here. Oh no, those oh, never mind. I guess I'm trying to get, it's not, there we go, it's focusing now, I guess. Yeah, it'd be nicer things. I don't know if there's going to be what normal is, but this is my personal feeling, and I know there's a lot of spots that are a lot worse off than here. I don't really have an interest in going into a restaurant where everybody's wearing a mask. Like, that means that there's a safety issue, whether it's health. Like, for example, if you went into a restaurant and everybody was walking around with a gun on their hip or in their hand, like, would you feel safe eating there? Because I wouldn't. Even, you guys know how I feel about that sort of thing. It just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. I know there is a restaurant in Colorado that actually does that, where everyone's licensed to carry, and they carry or in Chicago. I wonder why that is. ticks are the worst. Where I'm from in New York, the eastern end of Long Island has a very bad tick problem. I think it's actually the worst in the nation, if not the world. Of like, I think 50% of people end up getting some Lyme disease at some point in their life. But the one thing you do every time you take a shower is you check for ticks. You know, in all the areas that you get to check. So if you're a rotund person, you got a lot of fat blobs to check, and if you're in your butt or in your ear. I got mosquitoes in the car. Marcus, so it's a little bit complicated. I was born in New York City in Manhattan, but my parents moved out to first to Fairfield County, Connecticut, and then they lived in Fairfield. Oh, is that a Mercury Marauder? Sorry, guys. And they moved out to Westchester. So I'm from White Plains for the first 7 years of my life in New York City. And then we moved to Virginia for 10 years. And my mom is from Shelter Island, which is just north of like East Hampton. Lived there. I graduated high school from Shelter Island High School. And then I moved down here after like 6 years of living up there. So curious about this Crown Vic. Didn't want to get stuck between two slow cars there. So yeah, so I lived here since 2004, but 98 to 04 I lived out there. My mom grew up there, and she's got the mosquitoes. Yeah, I want to be able to visit, friends too. And personally, I won't go inside restaurants. I don't see the point. I'll get takeout once in a while. I think I've eaten takeout 4 times in 2 months now. You guys know how much I used to eat takeout. I'll go into like Sam's Club, but I won't go into Walmart or Publix. I'll go into Walmart. Places I've gone into. GD, as far as the Hemithronax versus Coelii, the biggest difference is going to be that Coelii is going to have a little bit thicker, wider leaflet and a silverish underside. So, and spines. Yeah, elephant. There are some out there, like near on Oman, and they do grow them in Dubai, but they need supplemental water. It's just so dry during certain months of the year. Hey, James. Yeah, they will grow there. I've seen people in Dubai. I've talked to some people in Dubai that do gardening in that area. Also in Qatar. I actually used to have one of my biggest clients was in Qatar. My side is hurting me. What is that sound? Florida's already built some levees on the lake. I mean, the coastal areas. I just think at some point it's just going to be so cost ineffective that you're just going to have to move inland. So. It's already causing a lot. Hey, James, sorry. Temperature tonight, because it's raining, it's 73 right now in Northport. It's probably like 75, 76 in the Cape. Northport's usually a little bit cooler. If you guys want to speed, go ahead. Let's me speed. Let you guys get caught first. Mom's doing all right, for having to. She's basically locked up in the assisted living facility, so she was happy to see me. I was able to hand her through someone that works there and some things that she wanted. So. Yeah, the hardest part of this virus is actually, it's kind of hard for me to get seeds. Wow, what a fucking idiot. The person next to me was decided he was just going to hit me. Hold on. That was my collision warning system going off. Basically like, expect a collision. Shocking. Texting and driving, so. And his license plate is like blowing upwards. I don't know if you guys can see this, but. I'm easily distracted, so. Apologize if I don't get to your message right away. I thought it was just some old person, which is pretty normal for that to happen, but sorry guys. That small building on the right, that is a ice cream shop, the one with the big line. Nice. Tropical Smoothie is definitely my go-to place for like daily food when I would get stuff. I mean, I got it once in the past 2 months. The guy that owns the place is pretty nice. It's fairly healthy food. The smoothies are pretty healthy. The food is kind of like salty and stuff, but man, this guy is moving. What's opening up where? Where you talking, James? Where are you talking about? Going down to the industrial park. I used to play in an underground poker game over here, but they started owing me money, and once I got my money back, I didn't go back there anymore. Yeah. For a young person to live in Florida, well, Civic Lexus guy, it depends on what you want. Do you want a lot of people? Do you want a big city? Do you want more rural? Do you want more tropical, or do you want more temperate? I mean, more, so, I mean, that's probably a dumb question, but you know what I mean. give you a few counties to kind of give you an idea, but here we go, 40 miles an hour again. Have to make these ridiculous turns to. Anyway, let me go back to the counties. So you don't need to be near the coast. As far as I think that for someone under like 30 or under 40, like as far as cheap living, places to hang out, and like not being sketchy, I think that Metro Orlando is not a bad choice. There's a decent climate to it. Like between Disney and downtown Orlando, that area is pretty well. And just north of Disney, the west and south sides of Orlando, even north. I mean, I wouldn't go to Kissimmee or St. Cloud. It's a little bit sketchier there. Polk County's a little bit. It's just not as nice. If you want a little bit more, like I wouldn't recommend going to like Collier County. I mean, Miami is nice, but it's very crowded and expensive. So is Broward. Palm Beach is not as bad, as long as you're going to like, you know, the not expensive areas. I think that, there's a lot of young people in Pinellas County. Now, Pinellas County is densely populated, but you know, there's not a lot. It's cool. I always found the coolest places to hang out for like 10 years ago when I would hang out. Like a lot of times I go to St. Pete just to hang out because it's just a real, lack of a better term, hip area. Sarasota's not bad now. It used to be kind of just too old, but Fort Myers is not a bad town. I mean, even Cape Coral's fairly young. I mean, Cape Coral's becoming more Hispanic, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it's changing. It used to be just like old Midwestern people, kind of like Venice and Sarasota. But Cape Coral is basically getting an influx of people from Miami. Like, if you walk down the street, I'll do a live stream one time, and I'll show you all the people may live here now, but they bought their cars a few years ago in Miami from Miami dealerships or Fort Lauderdale dealerships. So, anyway, I recommend Pinellas. Great climate, a lot of younger people. Like, it has some culture about it. Like, there's a lot of young people in Polk County, like Lakeland, but it's a little bit sketchier, a little more country. I think the best town overall is probably Gainesville, but it's way up there, and you're dealing with maybe some bratty people. You can eat inside a restaurant at 25% capacity, so you basically have to call ahead. Every fourth table is, you know, is only open. Yeah, Miami is basically, you know, like Dylan, you know, the house that Ashley and I live in. Basically, its market value is about 200,000. Well, it was 200,000. I don't know what it is now, you know, with everything happening. But you know, the height of the market is about 200,000. That house in Miami is a $500,000 house in a decent neighborhood. Yeah, it's not that Marcus is right. It's not that small. Tampa, like, you know, now I think about it, places like Brandon is a good place for a lot of younger people, a lot of kids in their 20s there. There's a lot of fun things to do in Tampa. You're in the suburbs. You can get out to the country in like 15 minutes. And there's a decent amount of traffic, but it's not like Miami traffic. And everything is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem as like dirty as like some of the older areas. Brandon's a decent town. I mean, there's some surrounding towns that are a little bit weird. But Temple Terrace isn't bad. Like Lutz, a lot of the Tampa suburbs aren't bad at all. You want to go nicer, you can go to Oldsmar or Palm Harbor. I just don't like bigger cities, and because of what's going on, I really don't like any bigger cities, so I have no interest in visiting big cities in the near future. Yeah. Yeah, and he knows Tampa well. The only bad parts of Tampa is where I actually like to go, which is Hard Rock. That's Orient and what do they call it? East Lake or whatever. Orient Park. basically where I-4 and I-75 meet. Just south and west of there is the worst neighborhood, I'd say, in town. I've driven through there at night, not felt too safe. Marcus would know, I would take the back way sometimes. I'd take Orient Road to 60 and get on the interstate there, or take 301 down a little bit. But Miami traffic is absolutely terrible. I can tell you that because I used to live there. I used to ride my motorcycle there, which is basically a death sentence eventually. Every day from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. and then 3 p.m. till 7:30, or maybe 3:30 to 7:30, something like that. I mean, every single highway is backed up. I can't tell you it's worse than Chicago or not. It's probably not as bad as Chicago or New York. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of worse drivers. I can tell you that. When people make aggressive maneuvers in New York, they know what they're doing. It may not be the right thing to do, but they know they're better drivers than people in Miami. I don't know. I've never been to LA, but it could be. I'm sure it isn't worse than LA. I've seen LA traffic. That looks terrible. But there are parts of Miami you can live in and not deal with the traffic. If you go all the way out to Redland, out in the country there really isn't any traffic unless you want to get into the traffic. So Winter Park is a decent town, yeah. Like Winter Garden, Ocoee, that area, Dr. Phillips, like those are nicer areas. They're west of town. They got nicer subdivisions. Like Ashley's sister lives in Deltona, which is between Daytona and Orlando. I think it's a nice little town. It's getting built up because it's basically becoming a suburb of Orlando, even though it's like 45 minutes away or more. Places I would stay away from are like, I would stay away from Naples. It's expensive, but there's nothing for young people to do there. And the only place that's affordable is not really very safe, like Golden Gate Estates. I'm saying Golden Gate Estates is okay. Golden Gate is not. It's like Estero is not a bad place for younger people as long as you're living in like the younger area. Bonita Springs is very ethnic, which is, if you speak Spanish, that might be very helpful. Then like San Carlos Park and a lot of the eastern areas of Fort Myers, there's a lot of younger people there. There's a lot of young people in Cape Coral, but it's kind of a boring town. There's also the Treasure Coast, which is a lot less populated. You have Vero Beach, you have Port St. Lucie, which is a decent sized town, Fort Pierce. And it's a mix of younger and older. It's kind of like a nicer version of like Polk County in a way, with a beach. So, all right, sorry guys. If I could go buy a house somewhere right now, I would actually probably buy a place in Venice. I wait for the market to drop a little bit, but yeah, Fort Pierce is a little bit sketchy. The waterfront areas are nice, but like out in the west area, I've actually been to Fort Pierce once, so my view on it is not that good. I don't know a lot about like Indian River, Martin, and St. Lucie counties. My grandparents lived in Brevard County, so like Cocoa and Rockledge, I don't know if I'd recommend living there. Merritt Island is nice. It's kind of a hidden gem, but expensive. Yeah, I can't tell you, between Cocoa Beach and West Palm Beach, I couldn't tell you a whole lot about like living there. I know that North Palm Beach County is pretty nice. You have Jensen Beach, Tequesta, Jupiter are all really nice areas. But then between there and Palm Beach, there's actually a bad area called Riviera Beach. Don't move there. But yeah, there's really no places like in Southwest Florida is probably the oldest part of Florida as far as like people wise. Why am I always getting stuck in the slow lane? I guess we are going the speed limit. Never mind. Is that a Mazda speed? Sorry about the out of focus. It's got to be because of this stupid bug splatter. Jacksonville, there's nice areas and there's bad areas, but in general, Jacksonville just really isn't very Florida-ish. It feels more like it's more of like a southern city than it is a Florida city, in my opinion. You don't get that. I think to get that Florida feel, you really have to go like I-4 and south. If you want to do the Panhandle, you can do like Panama City. That was kind of, but Pensacola is not bad. Tallahassee's actually pretty nice. Tallahassee's a lot like Gainesville. Rolling hills. You have to realize Tallahassee's pretty cold. It's like an 8B zone, so you're not going to be able to grow a lot of the tropical things you want to grow, say, even in like Gainesville or Ocala. Ocala's kind of shady. Every city in Florida is going to have its ups and down areas. Like Orlando has some pretty terrible areas. Fort Myers does. Tampa does. St. Pete does. Sarasota doesn't really. There is a bad neighborhood, but it's not that bad. Venice doesn't really have a bad neighborhood. Neither does Cape Coral. Yeah, the Panhandle is like a whole other. It's more like the Gulf Coast than it is like Florida. I mean, it is Florida, but it has more ties to like Alabama, Mississippi, in my opinion, than it does to like say Miami. And that's true. Jeremy's right. I mean, I love like Winter Haven, and I know Winter Haven, there's some parts that are really sketchy, and I love going there because like you have that mid-century Florida feel about it. You really can't get a lot of other places because they've torn it all down, and you get a lot of that in Polk County. And Polk County gets a bad rep for having weird stuff going on. Like there's a lot of Florida man things that come out of Polk County, but there are so many cool things to see in Polk County. Once you get north of I-4, you're going to get into like rolling hills. So if you want flat land, you want to be south of I-4. There's one like little hill range that goes south of I-4. It goes right along Route 27, and it ends just after Lake Placid. Are there really 700,000 people in Polk County? I didn't know that. It's pretty spread out, I guess. Because there's 730,000 people in Lee County, but it's a much smaller county, I guess. Yeah, and a lot of Florida isn't a swamp, the new areas are pretty swampy because they ran out of like this is the way you can look at it. A lot of the towns that have been around for a long time were there before air conditioning and before mosquito control, so they had to live in an area that were like it was tolerable. So towns like St. Pete, Sarasota, Venice, Gainesville, Ocala were all built in like higher sitting areas. But like towns that were built in after the advent of air conditioning, like a lot of the western suburbs of Miami, a lot of Fort Lauderdale, Cape Coral, Northport, they were all built basically in a swamp. You're right. And a lot of Metro Orlando, So you don't get a lot of like that natural Florida feel. We're going to go ahead and take Burnt Stores because, yeah, I have a client who's a veterinarian in Lake Wales, and he lives, his house, which is pretty fucking awesome, is sits on a lake outside of Lake Wales. It's not lake, yeah, it's not on Lake Wales, but the lake sits at 130 feet, and it's like 40 feet down from the road to the lake. So that's never going to flood there, and it feels like you're in, I don't know, it doesn't feel like Florida at all, but it has a lot of windy roads, and it's really cool. It's a nice area. I mean, and it's not like a gated subdivision or anything like that, just a house on the lake. So, and there's actually orange groves across the street from his house, so it isn't, that's a nice area of Polk County. There's some really nice areas and there's some really weird areas. I don't really recommend Pasco County because it's just a lot of weird crime that goes on there. Yeah, you know him, Jeremy? He lives in that mountain. He lives in the mountain lake. He has 2 greenhouses. Okay, that's fine. I mean, he's a super nice guy. And, yeah, coastal Texas is pretty low-lying. I'd say they're probably equally as bad as far as the low-lying coastal areas. But, yeah, he's a super nice guy, has some really cool plants. And, he's really helped me out from time. I mean, it's weird. I got to know him through Palm Talk, and he'd buy seeds for me and plants. And then finally in like 2010, 2011, I met him. And yeah, because he actually, this sad story, but my sister got a corgi after her first corgi passed away naturally around in 2010. And in early 2011, she got a corgi from a breeder in Minnesota. And my vet, I got to know, I met him and everything, or he became my vet, I guess. Sister would bring the dog to him, and then she had a couple other dogs too. And she, one night, my sister woke me up at like 3 a.m. She's like, I think a couple of the dogs ate some of your cycad seeds. And I'm like, they're throwing up, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, so I called him. He was willing to meet my sister at like 5:30 a.m. I explained what happened because he knows what happens when dogs eat cycad seeds. And one of the dogs the corgi passed away, but the other dog made it. And he was nice about the whole thing. And yeah, he's an all-around just nice guy. Don't have enough good things to say about him. I mean, can't say enough good things about him, I guess is what. Okay. Chalet, I'm not familiar with, but I almost traded some cycads for his old motorcycle, but it needed a little bit too much work for me to want to get it, and it was a little bit too big of a bike. It was a 1500cc Kawasaki Vulcan. The front brakes weren't working. It was sketchy on a motorcycle. He and I have a lot of good stories. He used to buy some cycads for me, and I'd drop them off at his greenhouse at 2 o'clock in the morning and come home. I can actually tell a lot of good, like, traveling plant stories. people from the past. I just don't want to paint anyone in a negative light. Not Mike. I have nothing negative to say about him. He's always been super nice and accommodating. Yeah, Spanish Mediterranean is the way to go here. No, it's okay. I mean, it's a whole different thing. Like when I even go up north of like to Gainesville, I see like a brick house. Like for example, the last time I really took a long trip out of Florida was actually during Irma. I mean, we had an Airbnb. It was like this house, a country style house right across from Furman University in Greenville, South Carolina. And we went in and it was like, this thing had real wood floors and brick everywhere. And brick is fairly uncommon in Central and South Florida. It's mostly concrete, stucco, but wood or brick is just, not used anymore. Yeah, the half barrel roofing is nice. It's expensive compared to regular shingles, but my mom's house had it in Florida. Just that replacing it with that versus I think it was like 35 grand to replace the roof with half barrels versus like 14 grand with shingles. The hard part is finding the Adobe housing. You got to find like an older, like the new ones are kind of almost look kind of fake, but I feel like in like a lot of, it seems like Orange County California has a lot of nice old school Adobe houses. I like them a lot. There is a part of Venice that's actually a lot older than I thought it was, and there's some Adobe houses in there. Yeah, the downsides to living in interior Florida is usually just it's really hot in the summer. You might want to get a pool with whatever place you live, if it's a condo or a house. I find condo living in Florida is kind of boring, having stayed at my mom's condo for a few months. I don't like living in a box. Obviously, in some cities, it's like basically impossible to, like New York City, there are no houses in Manhattan. There's a couple of brownstones, but yeah, if you want that heat, man, go inside. Go to Polk County, Osceola County, go to Hendry County, and you get the most of it. The hottest parts of, usually the hottest place in Peninsular Florida is right around Immokalee. The other hard part is, employment. If you want to work somewhere and live in interior Florida, you're going to want to live near a city. Yeah, I'll tell you guys this. I've already taken 2 showers today. I'm going to take one when I get home because I've been, out and about. I take a minimum of 2 showers a day in the summertime. And I don't sweat very easily. What when I get to Cape Coral, I'm gonna have to cut this off because I do need to call Ashley and my mother because she's going to sleep soon. So. Yeah, if you, I mean, you can handle the heat. I mean, because I mean, if you're inside and you walk outside, it's like going into a sauna. I mean, especially in interior Florida. There's a breeze living near the water, it's really a different. Like Venice is so different than Cape Coral in the summertime. You get, it can be 94, 95 in the Cape, and it can be 88, 89 in Venice. But then it only gets down to about 79 in Venice, but it'll get down to like 75 in the Cape, 76 maybe. I mean, it can be the same, but it cools off at night more. Like it'll get down into the mid, sometimes even low 70s interior Florida, versus like in Miami on the water and south, like it may not get below 80 for like a week. Welcome to Cape Coral. Yeah, you'll definitely cook in. God, I remember the days I would drive it for the day to like Busch Gardens or Disney with a friend or two. And man, when you're sitting out there, like I would bring a 12 pack of frozen. What you do is you freeze water the night before, like bottled water, so it's frozen solid. You put it in like keep a bag with you, and you can just keep on drinking it as it melts. And by the end of the day, it's like just cold water or like cool water. But man, I mean, if you had to just drink the water they sold you, like I'd be drinking $30 of the water a day. Here we go. All right, guys. So when I hit the divider up here, I'm gonna give Ashley and my mom a call. But I appreciate you guys watching. It's always a good time. The other upside to living in interior Florida is you don't get as directly hit by hurricanes. Yes, you do get hit, but you don't get storm surge and flooding nearly as much. And the hurricane will have slowed down in intensity. That's why Orlando rarely gets hit hard by hurricanes. The last time I got hit hard by a hurricane was actually in Charlie in 2004. Maybe in 2005, I don't know. I mean, Irma, yes, too, but nice. Dude, my favorite ice cream that you can buy at a store regularly is Bluebell homemade vanilla. That stuff's made so well. I got this knockoff stuff called Blue Bunny from Walmart. Always just artificial flavoring. Yeah, Irma, I forgot Irma. Because I wasn't here, I left, but Charlie was here for it. I feel like sometimes the virus is like constantly like you're in hurricane preparedness, except for there's plenty of gas and meat. Yeah. Learn how to prepare for a hurricane for sure when you move down here. If you're not prepared and you get slammed, I mean, it could be like Florida could have been like Puerto Rico had Irma kept its strength. That's the difference between 40, 50 miles an hour wind. Between blowing houses down and just blowing down and knocking power out for a few days. Alright guys, so I'm back on the divider here. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching. And I will talk to you guys soon.